Well, hello there. My name is Lynn Komjisha. Now, the Minister of State for Animal Husbandry, Joy Kabasi, has ordered the arrest of encroachers on government ranches. Now, these ranches are found in Nshara, Ruhengeri, and Sanga. This is around Chiruhura there. Paul, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
This is interesting. There were government ranches that were encroached on by people. How did that happen? Where was government then?
That's a $1 million question. I mean, it's one of those things we take for granted. I don't know whether we take it for granted or what. You know, people just see open land and they start doing their thing. You know, the government somehow, you know, I don't know whether those people have lawyers. Maybe they would argue that they are now bona fide tenants, because there's a law that says something to the effect that I think if you had been on the land for, is it up to 12 years or something like that, and no one is contesting your presence on the land, you become a bona fide tenant. I don't know how long those encroachers have been there, but
they've been there for a while.
Yeah, so you know, government might have a real challenge, you know, going and compensating people for their own land, to get off their own land.
You know,
yes, amazing. It's amazing.
So, what were they for, though? These, would you know?
No, of course. I think these ranches, these specific ones, I don't know the specific, but generally they were used by the government for breeding purposes, research, that kind of thing. So, and generally, what do you call it, research into agricultural methods of, for example, cattle keeping and things like that. They fell into disuse, I think during the Amin era, because
that's time when there was
the cows probably got looted or whatever the case may be. Obote never, you know, was not around long enough to resuscitate them. And the movement comes into power and they really have other priorities, you know. Yeah, so now we're waking up and saying, my friends.
That's why I'm going to ask you, why do you think they're waking up right now to evict these people? What has gone wrong?
No, obviously, I mean, I would like to believe that we now appreciate better that, I mean, agriculture we have to push agriculture, especially to resolve the issues of youth unemployment and general productivity of the economy. So, you know, you have to get your ranches back to, because one thing that governments do the world over in terms of agriculture is that they invest a lot in research, because the private sector doesn't do research. So government does the research and passes on the findings to the public or the private sector. So I can imagine, I would like to imagine that they are now want to take back their ranches and restart that process of research into animal husbandry and things like that. You
know, when I read the whole story, it hit me that, is it because of the Land Prop Commission? Is there something connected to it?
Well, it's possible. Look, I think it even speaks to a wider issue in the economy. See, if your land rights are not firm in an economy, that economy can't really grow, because everything else, every other value or asset comes off the land. So if your land has questions, you know, you have trouble. So whereas it might look like some remote sorting out of an issue somewhere near Chihura,
to be countrywide.
Yeah, that's where they're going to start. And you hope that they're doing it properly. It's not that we're kicking off small people to put on big people.
You must know, these ranches don't have small people.
Oh, really? Huge herds. Yes, I saw the minister was talking about how many, 4,000 heads of cattle.
More than that.
Roaming around.
Yes. And these are huge ranches.
And you see, the challenge is also with such things is that, you see, if even in my heart I know that this is not mine, I will not make certain investments.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So you could have a problem, you know, like, for example, I might not really invest very much in clearing the fields of ticks and whatever other thing, and these things will get spread all over the cattle corridor because there are cows moving in and out. I was
saying that most of these ranches have, you know, animals roaming without proper, you know, pesticides and parasites.
Exactly.
And so that's
degrading also the environment.
Yes.
You see, because I have no incentive to rotate my cows to ensure pasture is maintained throughout the year. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, you know, you can see so many reasons why government would want to really, you know. Yeah.
Now, if for example they were not encroached on, as said, what effect would they have had on the economy at all?
Well, as we said, you know, the priorities of governments before now and then have not really been on this. But just imagine that, you know, we have a challenge now. I hear that the ticks have become resistant to acaricides, you know?
An example, my home.
Your cows?
My cows at home. Yeah.
That's interesting.
What?
Lina's cows. Okay. Yeah, but you see, yes, there'd be investigations on these ranches. You know, maybe they'd bring the ticks along, test them along. You do it in this space. You do it on government animals which can die. But that's true. That's how you do it. That's what all the research is about. You have to research on animals and stuff. Yeah, but if you don't have the space, then you know, the thing is probably going on much longer than it would have if these ranches, if it had not been that these ranches were out of use.
Oh yes, yes. I think that might be the reason they're doing it now. It could be.
Yeah, it's possible.
Because it's
the tick issues.
Tick resistant. Rather, the ticks have become very, very resistant.
Yeah.
And they need to find ways. Oh well. So if you're part of the ranchers, you might need to think twice or otherwise. Thank you, Paul.
You're welcome.